Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Drew back again with another video for all you soccer fans out there. And this one, we're going to be previewing USA versus Uruguay on Tuesday night. This game, if you watched my reaction to the Mexico-USA game, you know how I feel about the national team right now. You know how I feel the way the national team is heading because of the leadership it has right now and the mentality of the whole team. So, with all that being said, I think this game against Uruguay is going to be, how you say, the same result. Okay? And I'm going to get into my preview and I'm going to get into what I think the lineup is going to be from Greg Berhalter. And then, of course, again, I'll give you guys the lineup that I would like to see against Uruguay. Not that, not that it's going to make a fucking difference, but let's get into the preview video first. The preview part of this video first, which is, of course, who I think is going to win. Right off the bat, I'm going to go ahead and say Uruguay. Not, if we won against Mexico or if we even drew against Mexico the other night, I would still pick Uruguay to win this game because I think Uruguay is a much better team than Mexico. I think it's a more compact team. It's stronger at the back. It's all about defense, and also it's got lethal attack as well. But the only thing is, I don't think that we're going to lose the same way we did against Mexico. I think that this Mexico team is better than the Uruguay team they have right now. Uruguay is missing some key players like Luis Suarez, Edison Cavani, two of their best strikers ever for the national team, and also some good defenders as in Diego Godin in the back. So they are missing key players in there, but they still have good players like Maxi Gomez leading the line, Fernando Muslera at the back, what's the guy's name? Jimenez in the defense as well. So they still got some pretty good players at the core right now. So they are still a threat to us. They are still a threat to us. And they are also still the favorite, I think, to win this game. I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be a slim, easy game. A 1-0 win for Uruguay against the USA. I think we're going to play a little bit better. But we're still going to lose. So before we go ahead and talk about my lineup and Greg Berhalter's lineup, we're going to go ahead and talk about the players who were sent back to their clubs. So our squad went from 26 players down to 20. So that means the players who have left us, unfortunately, are John Brooks, Sean Johnson, Weston McKennie, Alfredo Morales, Christian Pulisic, and Zach Steffen. All these players were released back to their clubs because, they got some club stuff to do this coming weekend. So whatever, and no replacements were made to fill these gaps with these players because why would we have one friendly left and all the players go back to the clubs for club soccer. So whatever. The big thing is, and the big thing that everyone notices is that a lot of the players that were sent back to their clubs were players who were some of our biggest players, like Pulisic, John Brooks, Zach Steffen. Those players are key to our national team. So that's definitely going to dampen our result against Uruguay, but also could open up some, chances for players like Paxton Pamico, who didn't make an appearance yet, Jackson Uwal as well, Jesse Gonzalez, who is still an unused goalkeeper. Now that Zach Steffen's gone, there's only 2 goalkeepers left, and I'll get to that in a second. Players like that will have a chance now to get into the first team, get into the starting 11, and, show up for their country, at least on the senior level. So that's good. And real quick, a little bit more about these players who were sent back. Christian Pulisic and Alfredo Morales, I think, were the best players on the night against Mexico. Obviously, Christian Pulisic didn't score. For all you people with Lozano fans out there, I know he didn't score, but he was trying his best to at least do something in the attacking front with all the other players just fucking sitting back and watching him. So you could tell that he was very frustrated, Christian Pulisic, but in the end he was not able to produce anything by himself. And as for Alfredo Morales, I think before his little injury towards the end of the game in injury time, he was, I think, the best midfielder in that midfield for USA. For the last couple games, I'd say too. He was aggressive, he was durable, he was everywhere, all over the pitch, trying to break up plays, trying to win the ball back with his aggressiveness. He was getting into it with the Mexican players. Like, he was showing not just Greg Berhalter but the fans, like, hey, this is what I can bring to the national team. I know you guys forgot about me for a couple years, but this is what I can offer. This is the kind of player I am. And I think, he really impressed me. I know I'm not the only person who was impressed by Morales, by his form against Mexico. He really played well, I think. I think he's a midfielder that we kind of need right now in the national team, someone who's really going to do his best and work hard in the midfield, trying to win the ball back at all costs, making fouls when he needs to make a foul. Of course, professional fouls, of course. But either way, I was really impressed by Morales. And as for Weston McKennie, I think he's a player who has been kind of spotty with the national team. I know he's really great for Schalke in Bundesliga. I know he's a really good prospect coming up for us. But he hasn't really impressed me too much for the national team as of late. So his game against Mexico was, I think, one of his worst as well. So I'm not too upset about him leaving. As for Zach Steffen, he didn't have the best game. But like I said in my reaction, it's not really his fault since the team kept fucking passing back to him under high pressure. So whatever. What are you going to do when your whole other team is not up to par with you? You're going to concede goals. Not going to blame Zach Steffen there. As for Sean Johnson, I don't really care because he wasn't even used. He probably wasn't going to be used for this game either. John Brooks, another player who was kind of injured as well, so he didn't really get to make a big impact on this roster as well, so that kind of sucks for him. I really hope that he doesn't become this player who's always injured and like he's a good player for us, but we'll never get to use him because he's always injured. That would really fucking suck. So, now that all these players are out of the squad list, what kind of players do we have left? Well, let me show you your boy Drew's lineup right here as what I would like to see. Not too complicated, huh? You know, as always, you guys know, if you watch the channel long enough, you know that every time I make a prediction of what kind of lineup I'd like to see, I always go for a 4-2-3-1 formation because I think this formation is the strongest we could use. It's one of the strongest formations out there if used wisely. You know, we got 4 defenders, 2 center defensive midfielders, and 3 or 4 attacking players up front. So what I went with is, since we have no Zach Steffen, we have Jesse Gonzalez making his appearance for the first time for the USA senior level in goal, along with, of course, Miles Robinson who's in there as well. Aaron Long, of course. I think Miles Robinson was pretty decent against Mexico when he was subbed on. So I'd like to see him play for the whole time against Uruguay. Of course, we got Sergiño Dest, who didn't really have the best game, I'd say, against Mexico. I think he really was caught out a lot. Maybe a lot of pressure on him. Maybe a lot of nervousness as well, as that being his first senior team game with USA. And, of course, against our arch rivals who were fucking on fire that night. So I'm not really going to blame him for making any errors there because maybe he was nervous. But nonetheless, I would still like to see him start this game. That way, if he was a little unsettled, you know what? He still has Greg Berhalter's faith in him. Like, you know what? Greg could be like, yo, Des, I know you really didn't play the best, but I still have faith in you, and you're going to go back out there and try again. Like, that's what young players need, some reassurance there. Just like me in relationships. We got Reggie Cannon, of course, another young prospect at the right back because there's no other really good right backs that we have available. And also Reggie Cannon is a pretty dope right back. And, of course, holding our midfield together is Christian Roldan and Jackson Ewell. No sign at all of Will Trapp. You know, since Morales is not here, I think Ewell and Roldan are the best options we could put right here in midfield for our defensive midfielder position. And up top for the attacking line, we've got, of course, Sebastian Lletget, Paxton Pomykal, and Tyler Boyd. Real quick, Paxton Pomykal, I think, is a great player who is showing lots of potential in MLS for FC Dallas, and I think he could make some good impressions and some good impact in the national team in years to come. But to do that, he's got to fucking make an appearance, so why not try to get him on the field during this game against Uruguay? What's it going to hurt, Berhalter? Just fucking give this dude a chance. He's very versatile in the midfield. He can play in the right, in the left, in the middle, a little center more. This guy can do it all, and we can really just use that quality in him. And of course, Sebastian Lletget, a player who I think came on in the Mexico game as a substitute, and I think really impressed me a bit. You know, he was showing some glimmer. I was like, yo, no one's doing anything. I'm gonna show you guys how to fucking do and work for the ball. Like, I think he had a pretty decent, I'd say, game against Mexico. You know, not a lot of players played well, but Sebastian Lletget, I think, was a pretty decent substitution for that game. Tyler Boyd, like, who else are you gonna put there? And of course, up top with our main striker, Josh fucking Sargent. Get Yazzie Zardes the fuck out of here. Like, dude, I'm over Yazzie Zardes, okay? Yazzie Zardes and Will Trapp are the equivalent of Michael Bradley and Jose Altidore. Someone said that in my comments down below, and I thought it was funny, so give them a quick shout out right here. It's definitely true. It's the new age of Altidore and Bradley, and I think it's time for these players as well to get the boot. And that's why I have Josh Sargent here over Yazzie Zardes. If you guys want to put Chris Barrett on, or Corey Barrett on there, why not? Jordan Morris, that could work too. Anybody but Zardes will work fine. Like I said in my reaction to the Mexico loss, I said that if Josh Sargent was on the pitch from the beginning, I think he definitely would have had enough motivation and encouragement to really score that penalty he missed towards the end of the game. So that's my lineup. Now real quick, let's go ahead and look at Greg Berhalter's predicted lineup, what I think he is going to line up with against Uruguay. And here it is. It's almost the same as me, but this one is technically a 4-4-1-1, which is the same lineup he used against Mexico the other night. We got, of course, his boy Brad Guzan in goal, because it's either Guzan and Gonzalez, and I can't really see him using Gonzalez at all. Maybe as a sub, but I definitely can see him using Guzan over anybody else besides Zach Steffen. And we got Walker Zimmerman and Aaron Long in the center, the defense. Walker Zimmerman really didn't have the best game against Mexico. Hasn't really had a couple good games as of late for the national team. And of course, Daniel Lovitz on the left flank, the player who replaced Sergino Dest in the game against Mexico. Reggie Cannon at right back. And of course, his lover boy Will Trapp in the center of midfield with, of course, Christian Roldan. And then leading the attack, we've got Yazi Zardes supported by Corey Bear, Sebastian Lletget, and Jordan Morris on the right flank. And I think that looks kind of accurate. I think I kind of guess his lineup's pretty good for the most part. I know I get some players mixed up, but for the most part, I think I do it pretty well. And I do say so myself. Sebastian Lletget, like I said, a player who really impressed me against Mexico. Yazi Zardes, of course, another one of Berhalter's lover boys. What are you going to do? This guy could score like 0 goals in 2 years, and Greg Berhalter would be like, you know what? Zardes, we're still going to call you up because I think you still got it in you, pal. But that's it. That's my prediction. I think we're unfortunately going to lose again. But if we're going to lose, why not get some more players out there who haven't really seen much game time for the national senior level? Why not put them out there and see what they can do, and if they can spark some kind of change within this national team and try to grind out either even like a freaking draw against Uruguay. But I'm going to try to stay hopeful. I hope you American soccer fans stay hopeful as well. Good luck to our national team. I will see you guys back here on Tuesday, well, probably on Wednesday afternoon to talk about the Uruguay and USA game. But you can only watch it if you guys are subscribed, so be sure you guys subscribe down below. Hit the like button as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Thanks for kicking it with me, and I'll see you next time. Peace.